Protestant Reformation began in the 1520s in the Italian states, although forms of pre-Protestantism were already present before the 16th century. The Reformation in Italy collapsed quickly at the beginning of the 17th century, with its development hindered by the Inquisition and popular disdain. During the 12th and 13th centuries, a wide variety of religious dissidents appeared in northwestern Italy and in Rome. However, they were all eliminated. Only the Waldensians were an exception. They settled in inaccessible valleys of the Western Alps, where thanks to their effective defense they obtained a reduced freedom of faith in 1561, after they had adhered to the Reformation around 1532. A Dominican friar, Girolamo Savonarola, is regarded as the predecessor of Martin Luther in Italy. He stigmatized the debauchery and abuses of the Roman Catholic clergy, as well as demanding a moral revival and the destruction of statues and images at church. However, in contrast with Luther, Savonarola did not gain the protection of influential patrons, and his action was of short duration. It was only limited to Florence, and soon he was hanged and burned. Savonarola's Florentine contemporaries, Marsilio Ficino and Giovanni Pico della Mirandola, attempted what has been known as the Hermetic Reformation. But their Hermetic and Neoplatonic doctrines did not result in the emergence of a Protestant denomination. Now, Naples was one important center of the Reformation, because at the end of the 15th century, a so-called spirituale circle was formed. It was concentrated around Spanish immigrant Juan de Valdés, who propagated Christian mysticism. In the 16th century, Venice and Padua were temporarily places of refuge for Italian Protestants. These cities, along with Lucca, were important centers of the Italian Reformation because they were easily reached by new religious ideas spreading from the north. However, Protestantism there was quickly destroyed by the Inquisition, and Italian Protestants fled mainly to German duchies and to Switzerland. In the mid-1520s, soon after the publication of the first letters of Martin Luther, the first few Italian Lutherans appeared. However, the effect of Lutheranism was minimal because Luther wrote in German and directed his mission mainly at Germans, and the church censorship in Italy was very effective. Bartolomeo Fonzio was an active promoter of Lutheranism in Italy, but in 1558 was sentenced to death and drowned. All mentions of Lutheranism were immediately destroyed. In 1530, Antonio Brucioli was expelled from Florence because he had cited the works of Luther and Martin Bucer. Later, he rendered the Reformation great service by elucidating and printing biblical writings in the Italian language. He was repeatedly brought to trial and died in prison in 1566. In 1531, Luther's theses were discussed at the University of Padua. It was the only known case of such an academic discussion in Italy. Italian Protestants quickly radicalized their view under the influence of religious persecutions and started propagating Calvinism, Anabaptism, or even non-Trinitarianism. Around 1528, many French radical Protestants gathered around the Prince Ercole d'Este in Ferrara, invited there by the prince's wife Renée, the daughter of King Louis XII of France. For this reason, the princess was accused by the Inquisition of heresy and was forced to go back to France after the death of her husband. The Italian Reformation collapsed after only about 70 years of existence because of the quick and energetic reaction of the Roman Catholic Church. In the summer of 1542, the Italian Inquisition reorganized itself in order to fight Protestants in all Italian states more effectively. As a result of this threat, the majority of Italian reformers escaped to countries in northern and eastern Europe, such as Poland, where in Krakow the influential group of Italian Unitarians came into existence, supported unofficially by the Queen of Poland, who was the Italian-born Bona Sforza. By around 1600, almost all Protestantism practically ceased to exist in Italy, with Roman Catholicism remaining the religion of the Italian states. An exception to this was the Waldensian movement, but was attacked in the Piedmontese Easter in 1655 and suffered long periods of persecutions in the Savoyard-Waldensian Wars by the Roman Catholic rulers of the Duchy of Savoy. In Italy, the Roman Catholic Church from its beginning effectively fought diverse heresies. Thus, Italian religious reformers did not have a chance for wider activity and for propagating their views. Italian princes quickly stopped supporting the Reformation because it could deprive them of profitable clergyman positions. The first translation of the Bible into Italian by Giovanni Diodati of Lucca was published in 1603 after the fall of the Reformation in Italy, and for this reason it only contributed to the development of Protestantism outside Italy, mainly in Italian-speaking cantons of Switzerland.